This was the woman investigators hoped would provide some answers. Marilou Danley was greeted by FBI agents as she arrived back in the U.S. last night after flying in from the Philippines. Her companion, Stephen Paddock, had surprised her with a plane ticket 2 weeks ago and then followed up by wiring her $100,000. Today, she made a statement through her lawyer.
I was grateful, but honestly, I was worried that first, the unexpected trip home and then the money was a way of breaking up with me. It never occurred to me in any way whatsoever that he was planning violence against anyone.
But planning he was. In recent months, he was stockpiling weapons, several of them purchased at this store in Las Vegas. Staff said he passed all the background checks and that the weapons he bought hadn't been modified. That came later.
Every man's birthright.
Investigators say Paddock used a device called a bump stock like this one. It turned some of his rifles into automatic weapons, allowing them to fire hundreds of rounds a minute.
What we know is Stephen Paddock is a man who spent decades acquiring weapons and ammo and living a secret life, much of which will never be fully understood.
While the investigation continues today, President Trump touched down briefly in Las Vegas. He first visited a hospital where he met with a few victims of the shooting and then first responders.
And you showed what professionalism is all about.
He took no questions, instead delivering a carefully scripted response about how the country will move forward.
In the months ahead, we will all have to wrestle with the horror of what has unfolded this week, but we will struggle through it together.
After musing yesterday about possibly reopening the gun control debate,
and we'll be talking about gun laws as time goes by.
His speech today didn't go there. In Washington, there were fresh calls for stricter gun laws.
We must never stop fighting. Fight, fight, fight.
But on the outskirts of Las Vegas, at the country's largest shooting range, gun enthusiasts see things quite differently.
People that want to do harm to society will get a hold of a gun, and no matter how it is, if it's in the black market, they will always get hold of a gun, and they'll do what they want to do.
Obviously, you've got somebody that went to great lengths to create a lot of havoc and a lot of harm to people, and we're seeing that so much of the world today. And it could have been firearms, it could have been an airplane, it could have been. They're going to find a way if they're willing to sacrifice themselves.
As for Paddock's motive, more than 100 investigators have been poring over the details of his life and the planning that led up to the attack. They say in September he rented a room through Airbnb in Vegas. At the same time, a much larger music festival was underway here. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Las Vegas.